Maybe that's like your role
Yeah,
playing
just
or
someone who
something.
you can see yourself,
Yeah,
right?
that's
It doesn't matter. Just like that's what's most important.
exactly. Anyway, we can start this interview anytime you want. This is just the pre-show
Ah,
talk.
it's your show.
All right, I'll start. Welcome to my talk show. I'm your host, Simon Rebel, and this is my special guest here, LinkZ. So, how you doing?
Doing fantastic.
So, my first question I have is, how are you doing today? Doing good?
Doing good. Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing excellent. Thanks for asking. So, how did you end up getting into VR chat initially? Like, how did this grand journey, how did you end up here, in all places?
It's it has been a it's been a very interesting experience. I've been streaming on Twitch for roughly 3 years. Actually, a little bit over 3 years. And I've went by actually three names now on Twitch, and I mainly streamed like space simulation games like Elite Dangerous or Space
Okay.
Engineers or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I got really burned out. I hit partner on Twitch back in August of 2018. But then eventually, I just pushed myself way too hard and got burned out on it. And took a break at the beginning of 2019. I stopped around February,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a VR system. I didn't really had nothing going on. I was kind of bored, and I played Elite Dangerous in VR all the time. So I heard about this VR chat thing, and I decided to try it out. And at the time, I had an Oculus, a CV1 Oculus,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember logging in to VR chat the very first night and seeing what people were doing with full body. Um, I spent about 4 hours in VR chat that night, and immediately once I got off of VR chat, I got on the Steam website and bought an entire Vive setup, and then went to Amazon and bought all the trackers because I just knew like this was something special. Like I just knew it. So once I got full body, um, it was just a nonstop amazing experience for about the well it's been close to 11 months now that I've since first started VRC. And anybody who knew me before I became LinkZ, I actually switched my name to LinkZ at the beginning of January of this year. And anybody who knew me before I became LinkZ can see that there's a very large difference than who I was before and who I was after. So um, I guess I don't know if that answers your question, but it has been an amazing journey.
What kind of change? Like, how were you before? Like, you said you played Elite Danger. Is that how you got partnership and everything, or is it something else? Like, what were you doing?
Yeah, mainly Elite Dangerous was my primary community at the time. I did play off and on games. Actually, once I got partner, it was kind of like I always had the mentality of like once I got partner, and I think anybody who is stretching for partner will kind of have a similar feeling. It's like you feel like once you get to partner, it's like you've got it made, and it's like you can play any game you want, and it won't matter. So I did Elite Dangerous was my game for about a year and a half. Had a fairly large community. We were on front page a couple of times, and that was that was an amazing experience. Um, but then it was just like once I hit partner, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start doing things that I want to branch out on, and that's playing other games. And it eventually became like this. I was pushing myself to do different things, and that's why I kind of got burnt out on it. But as far as like how I've changed personally, and this is a discussion that we've had so many times in my stream since I've started doing this, is that um, when I started playing VRC, it started out as just like any other game that I chose to play, and that's I always choose like a female avatar. I mean, and a lot of people will agree that that's how they operate. I mean, it's just like if I'm going to be staring at a animated character in a video game for any length of time, I would much rather be female. I mean, that's just how I am, and probably a lot of other people. So that was the initial reason why I picked a female avatar. But in basically how I kind of explain it is that over the many months and months and months, and I have roughly 2,000 plus hours in BRC, I recognized different aspects within myself that um, it really meant a lot to me, and it really helped me being able to see myself like this and be able to explore the different aspects of that that were a part of me, but I had just never really been confident enough to reach out to and explore. Um, Dancing was obviously one of my things that I I remember the night I sat in the Void Club by myself and I stood in front of the mirror. And this is a story I tell so many times in my stream is that I would stare at myself in the mirror and I just had the idea, the thought process of like looking at what I see, how would I want what I see to dance? I have no dancing experience whatsoever in my entire life, and it's not a natural concept to me. But then I just started practicing. I just started doing and dancing how I wanted what I saw in the mirror to dance, and over time um, it became something that it allowed me to express myself in so many different ways um, that made me happy as a person, and that's probably one of the biggest changes is that it this who I am and how I represent myself here. It's not a character, and I'm sure I know you have probably interviewed many people on that stream VRC, and there's lots of different kinds of VRC streamers. You know, there's character streamers,
Mm-hmm.
there's memers, there's trollers. You know, it's all about memeing and things. You know, and I'm sure that I'm not the only VRC streamer out there who the character or what they portray is an actual extension of themselves, and that is very much the case with me. I mean, this is I love being what I am here, and I love being able to share it with other people because I think that's the reason I made the change to go to links. And I you have to please tell me to shut up if I'm talking too much because this is it's I will continue talking until you interrupt me. But um, so it's it's something that when I changed the brand to links, I knew that I wanted to do that. I knew it was going to make a huge rift and change in my original audience on Twitch. um I did I had a lot of pushback from a lot of people um that knew me as before I was links, and a lot of hate that came toward me because obviously when you see me and you see me on my streams, um, you know, I present myself as a female and I move as a female and dance as a female, and you know I got a lot of pushback from that from my original community. Not everybody, not everybody. Overall, I think a lot of people were just like, okay, that's not entertaining to me anymore. And then I also had a lot of people that stuck by me, the true people that were there for me. But again, I did get hate emails and was like, WTF, what the hell is going on? You know, what happened to you? Um, but it's yeah, it's an amazing. I love every second of it. I really do.
I see. Have you changed yourself in real life, like as your real self, or is it just how you feel
So
inside?
yeah, there's definitely aspects of what I've discovered within myself in VRC and what I portray that I cross over into my real life. You know, one of the things that I think that this has helped me to see and feel is like a sense of compassion and a sense of nurturing. Because me typically before I was in BRC, I was your typical guy who's very closed-minded emotionally, very stoic, very rigid, very quiet, and I think this has allowed me to really kind of be able to feel a little bit more emotionally about things, especially like when it comes to compassion and a nurturing sense. That's definitely something I feel with my community now is that um, having the ability to have a venue and a community where I can help provide a nurturing environment for people is so very important. And yeah, it's definitely affected different aspects of my real world self.
Okay, interesting. So, I wanted to ask you, like, uh, how did you decide? Sorry, how did you design your OC, your character represents your channel, your brand, and being links? Like, what made you decide to like pick the color scheme, for example, like black and red? Why did you decide to have ears and a tail, like different aspects like that? Like, is there anything that like pertains to that, like, or is this just something you liked?
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, it's definitely a combination of what I find personally visually appealing. Um, the color scheme I've always in my Twitch channel has always the color scheme has always been black and red. So it was a that was natural. But the actual character itself, and I always tell people about this, people that pop in that are new to BRC. And they're like, well, where can I get a good avatar? Or like, where I want to make sure I get an avatar that I like. And I always tell people, like, the more you search around in BRC, you're likely to come across an avatar that just kind of speaks to you, and it says, this is you. This fits you. It fits your mentality or what you're trying to get across to people. And obviously, you could tell by my outfit, I enjoy Nekos. I mean, it's like you said, it's visually appealing to me. It's something that I find attractive. And again, it goes back to that whole aspect of like looking at yourself in the mirror, and when I'm dancing, it's like, how do I want to represent myself, and what is this representing of me? Um, it's very clear based on my outfit and how I move and how I behave. I want to be seen as appealing, as I want people um, to get a sense of like, wow, this is something I want to enjoy watching. Because when I go back and watch my own VODs and I go back and watch my own content, I look for things like that. I look at it, I'm like, would I enjoy watching this? Um, and plus, it's just a cute outfit. I mean, there's so this one is custom now. I picked the original one from there's Yumi has this base avatar. I'm Lexi has, I think that's how they say their name. I'm Lexi has the base avatar. But I took it and went to a friend of mine who does custom avatar work, and basically changed out everything, changed the body, um, changed the outfit, the bottoms to be completely custom, changed the hair to make it fit more for me specifically. And that's one of the things that I think people who play VRC a lot, like yourself, that's your avatar. There's no one out there that probably has, well, there's no one out there that has an avatar that's like you, and it gives you a sense of like uniqueness. And I think that's very important when it comes to VRC, because you go around in VRC all the time and you see like the same avatars over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like when you have something that's uniquely you, it makes you feel special.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's it's the same way how I feel about my characters. That I paid the extra. I went the extra mile and paid money to get this avatar made from scratch. So I actually own the copyright to this. So I get what you're saying. Like a lot of people in VR chat do want to have that. Like there's obviously players out there that just sort of want to play VR chat and just goof off with their friends and that's it. But for the people that stick around, usually most people end up either finding an avatar that they like have a bond with, or
Hmm.
they do work themselves, or B, they pay someone to do it. And either it's an edit or a modification or whatever. A lot of people do that. I think almost like not like just pointing out like the streamer community of VRChat, but I would say almost every streamer has like their own avatar or like brand around it. I think some of them do use
Right.
public avatars, but most I would say majority of them have their own avatars. So
Yeah, and I know just enough in Unity to be dangerous. So I
mm,
know how to work with shaders. I know how to work with colliders and textures and things like that. But when it comes to the actual 3D modeling process, like to change the bottoms, there was no way I would know. I've opened up Blender, and I've made a donut. I've made, I don't know if you've seen the whole the tutorial on YouTube as far as Blender goes about making the donut. It's a fantastic tutorial, and if anybody is looking to learn how to do Blender, it is an amazing tutorial. I made the most beautiful pink donut that I've ever seen in my life. But when you actually bring in an actual FBX file, like of a model or something like that,
yeah.
it's a completely different ball game. It's I was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I've only dabbled in like Blender very little. I just basically convert PMX files to FBX. That's about it for me. I don't know. I just never really found an interest to like learn Blender or like I mean, okay, if I knew how to do Blender, I could probably like cut down a lot of expenses because then I can just do it myself and it's
Hmm.
just my own time. But I don't know. I spend more time being a content creator than sitting behind a desk and having to like painstakingly work on something. So I like to make content
Oh, it's
rather than um
y- yes, yeah. It's you know, I think that a lot. I There's so many things that I would love to do, and I already have things in my head that like, oh, I need to do this. I need to do
yeah.
this. I need to work on this project, and I need to work on this project. Um, but as like you said, as a content creator, and you know, a lot of people, and this kind of goes into the whole you know whole streaming conversation, but you know, a lot of people they see like a streamer and they, you know, you hit the end stream button and okay, well, I guess they're done. You know, there's nothing else that they do until they hit the go live button again. There's
True.
so much more that goes on in the background, so that there's more work. I feel I say work, but it's not work. It's just there's more engagement that has to be done outside of your stream than I think even that happens inside the stream. You know, Discord and Twitter and all the other social media platforms.
Yeah, that's what I think. I agree on that. There's a lot more stuff to do and all this like background like planning and stuff like that. Like this talk show, people just think I just hop on and be like, oh yeah, let's do our talk show. That's not how it works. I have to like DM people, figure things out, set up times, set up the camera, take like 20, 30 minutes to get make sure my leg trackers and all this stuff is working. Like it takes a lot of time and effort, and I just don't have a lot of time to spend even editing videos or anything like that. I just stream.
Yeah.
That's about it. So
So, how are you liking your full body? I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you a question because I know
sure.
you just you got full body yourself not too long ago.
Yeah, I got it early February, so probably just over a month I've had full body now, I think. I'm not too sure. I've
Hmm.
lost track. But yeah, it's I would say I can't live without it, honestly. I'm gonna be real with you. Like I played VR chat for 2 years on an Oculus Rift, the same one. So I'm using actually a hybrid setup. And once I got full body, I was like, holy, I can actually move my legs and move my hips and like lay down and sit in chairs and like the RP and immersion was just like
Yeah.
way more. I mean, granted, obviously, I'm not a thick anime waifu in real life. You know, I'm not like I don't look like this. Sorry,
Oh, what?
guys.
You're not? Oh,
Oh
come
man,
on.
immersion
This
ruined.
is how I look in real life.
Okay, well, not for me. Don't worry, I'll just hire
No.
a cosplayer. You know, that's how it is usually.
Oh
Anyway,
well. Oh, never mind. I won't say anything.
uh, anyway, I don't
But
know.
yeah, you're right. It does.
it's just liberating to be able like to do way more things expressive. Like I never really use body language. Like a lot of times I would just sort of sit there and just talk to somebody, and not really move my hands or my legs are like shaking or whatever. Like I'll never now I can do that. Like more body language and talking to people, and it's just a lot better. And you can cuddle and sleep in your bed or whatever you're doing. There's just a lot more options. I was like, damn, took me this long to get full body. I should have gotten this like a year ago. But
Yeah,
I guess it's never,
it is.
never,
It's
it's never too late. So, I mean, I just ordered my index yesterday, so hopefully that comes sometime
oh
soon.
nice. Did you get one of the like the initial batch, or did you get like the oh you've got 5 to 7 weeks or something like that?
I got the 8 weeks.
Oh okay,
I
yeah.
clicked it within like 10 seconds though.
It was immediate. Like I was the same way because I had some plans for some giveaway stuff and but I also wanted to get some extra hand controllers in case these happen to go bad. And I also wanted to get 2 base stations, which you can't buy separately. So I just thought to myself, well, if I'm gonna buy all this stuff, I might as well just buy a complete entire kit, and then I will give away the HMD to the community. But it was literally like seconds. It was there, and then it was like they were all gone, and it was like, okay, you have 5 to 7 weeks. I was like, damn it.
I don't know how, because I literally right when I went, I was sitting there and I was like, oh, it's 12:59. I was just like, sitting there with the refresh button. I click refresh, then I saw it, and I was like, order, and then it said 8. So it must have, I swear, it must have happened in less than 10 seconds or something.
You would think that Valve or Steam has done this so many times in the past that they would learn from their mistakes. But I mean, when I was so when they released the Index controllers back in, I want to say, I can't remember the date, but I was like, I literally was on the page doing the same thing you were, just clicking, clicking, clicking. And as soon as I saw it,
Hmm.
I ordered them, and then like 30 seconds later, I looked at the page again. It was just like out of stock.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
It's weird as stuff. So,
Plus, probably the whole coronavirus thing, supply
yeah, yeah,
chains
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of stuff
yeah,
are going to be like
yeah.
disrupted.
Unfortunately.
Hmm.
So, here's an interesting question I like to ask my guests sometimes. Have you ever dreamed of VR chat? Like, ever like went to bed, had a dream, and it was like, oh my god, I'm in VR chat. Or like some people, um, because obviously VR chat's a first person experience, right? So what ends up happening is a lot of the times, including myself, where like you play VR chat, you have a dream about VR chat, but then you start like you literally are your character. Like you look in the mirror in your dream, you're like, oh my god, I am this person now, and just like whoa. So have you ever
Oh,
encountered that?
absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's and, I guess it would probably go back to what we were talking about before about how like how some people play VRC for various reasons. Some people play VRC just to meme
Mm-hmm.
around and joke and make craziness happen. Some people are there for just to hang out with their friends, and they really don't care what avatar they are, just as long as they're hanging out with their friends. For me myself, like I very much associate what I see in the mirror when I'm in VRC as a part of
Mm-hmm.
myself. So yes, absolutely. I have had many a dreams where I've been, in VRC and saw myself as what I am here. Um, I've had dreams, interacting like with my friends in BRC, and I see them, even though I may know what they look like in real life, I see them as how I interact with them in BRC.
Mm-hmm. I hear you saying. So I was just looking. My full body keeps acting up sometimes, or so it's like making me like vibrate or whatever. It's just the way it is.
Mine does that sometimes too.
Yeah, I've experienced that. I've told this story a couple times now, but I'll like too long didn't read version. Basically, I rebranded. I used to play a dude in VRChat for a year and a half, and I never really played with female avatars. I don't know, I just never really cared. It just I don't know, because I saw everyone else a female avatar. I was just like, oh, I'll just be the one dude in VRChat and like be like, oh, I'll be the one husbando, and everybody will be my waifus. Haha, get him. So Eventually, when I rebranded it and I started becoming this character, especially being in VR, obviously I made my character, I guess what I enjoy or want to have a character like. So, when I looked down for the first time and couldn't see my own feet, that was an experience. So,
I already, yeah, I knew where that was going.
and imagining going to the Great Pug and you want to talk to somebody, and someone's talking under you, but you can't see them. Yeah, I've had that happen a few times. I'm like, I can't see
Yeah,
you, and they're like, who's talking? And I'm like, oh, I'm under. They're just a lolly. I can't see them. So, yeah,
yep.
first world problems.
I know, right?
But have you ever thought about This is an interesting question. Sometimes people answer. So, Um, ever thought about dressing up as your avatar? Like, ever thought about like cosplaying and stuff like that?
Okay, so well, this kind of ties into just a comment that you had made a bit ago. Um, so I'm very happily married, and I've been married for almost 20 years now. I
Hell
have
yeah.
a an extremely beautiful wife who is very supportive of everything that I do. Um, and she is actually she's done that for various times, but
Role play.
also that's one of the so yeah, so that's one of the things that no, I'm not going.
Yeah, role play. What do you mean? Got to
so
keep it
so no
spicy after 20
no
years. What
well
do you mean?
I wasn't gonna go there, but I was gonna say like for myself, I have and I think I'm not sure. Well, there's a lot of people on Twitch that have Patreons as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have a Patreon for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to be one of the things that my Patreons will have access to is cosplay pictures of my wife in this outfit. And so no, I don't personally um that's what I have VRC for.
What
You know what I'm
What
saying?
if I'm your top donator, your top D?
Do what?
You dress up, $1,000.
Oh, for $1,000?
Yeah,
I
man.
well, I don't I mm, I think it would just be silly. It would be silly, but I mean I would do it. I mean for $1,000, heck
Hell
yeah.
yeah. Hell
I
yeah.
don't think I wouldn't stream it. I wouldn't stream it, but I would do it.
Hell yeah. That's what VR chat's all about.
Um,
What do you mean? You go on Twitter, you see people wearing thigh highs all the time. I mean, that's like all the thigh high crazy, huh?
yeah, oh yeah. Oh, trust me, I know all about thigh highs.
Oh yeah? You been posting some
But
pictures,
no,
huh?
I think um it's like I said, that's why I have VRC. And I think that's what a lot of people use VRC for
Mm-hmm.
is because you know it's not so and this is kind of go in a deeper direction. Um one of the things that I have noticed, and I think anybody that spends a lot of time in VRC,
Mm-hmm.
that I think VRC is a fantastic place for people to be able to be representative of who they want to be. And it's so easy to just say and click a button and become a version and a vision of yourself that is closer to what you feel like you are inside in your real life. And there's been so many people that have joined into the community or I've met on VRC that unfortunately they can't be themselves for whatever reason, whether it's because they can't be themselves because of their family or their friends or their work or whatever the reason, because they'll get hate, they'll get ostracized,
Mm.
they don't feel comfortable. And I think VRC is a fantastic venue that allows people to do that. I mean, that's one of the mainstays of my community is that it's one built off of acceptance and respect. I mean, if you want to be a part of the community, and for myself, when I my presence online when it comes to the Discord, when it comes to VRC, when it comes to Twitter, I my pronoun is she. I mean
Mm-hmm.
that's just and I will tell the story. I will tell the story, and I've had this happen to other people and experience this as well. That so when I first switched over to LinkZ
Mm-hmm.
and I was dancing one night, and one of my amazing mods. I don't know if he's watching right now. He's probably blushing. One of my amazing mods made a little command. It was a little funny command in the chat, and it was people could type in exclamation mark booty, and
Hell yeah.
it would spit out something in the chat that said, well, I'll read you what the statement says, and I'll see if you can pick up on the change and what immediately just made me just stop dead in my tracks. This mod said this. His name is TGM, and he's known me for almost 3 years or over 3 years. Um, the command said Lynx has shook her booty yet again. And when I saw it in chat, I didn't tell him to make that change. I didn't allude to it, but the simple fact that he knew to and felt the need to and respected what he was seeing on my stream as far as me and presenting myself, he used her instead of him. And let me tell you, I almost broke down in tears seeing that because it was literally the first time that I had felt validated for portraying myself how I want to be portrayed. And I feel like so many people out there that's what they're searching for. They're searching for validation for themselves. They're searching for somebody and someone to say, I want you to be who you want to be. It's not a matter. Before I was in VRC, I was of the mindset of like, look, you want to be what you want to then be what you want to be. I have no problem with it. But after VRC and after this whole experience and after the many aspects that I've found within myself and that I relate to now, that's not enough. People have to want other people to be themselves. It's not just a matter of saying do whatever you want to do. It's a matter of encouraging people to be themselves. It doesn't if you want to if you feel like you relate to being a female more than anything else, it does not matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what you sound like. If that's how you truly want to be addressed and that's what gives you validation, then that's what should happen. Everybody else around that person should accept that and respect that person's decision. Um, and I'm sorry, I again, a tangent. I
No,
get
I get what
yelled
you're
at all the
saying.
time.
No, I get what you're saying. Uh, I feel the same way like about other people. Um, when I first started playing VR chat, I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, I just played it because it was fun. I didn't really like go into depth and like what this game was gonna become. To me, it was just a silly little like, oh man, you could be like any anime character and be silly or whatever. And I played as a guy and I was just like, "What's up, brother?" And I just like make a character and be stupid. That was it. I never really like looked past it. And when I started playing was when the all the streamers were playing and the game was blowing up. So a lot of people just play characters. They would just like be like, "Oh, here's the guy who's the hillbilly, and here's the guy that doesn't talk, and he's like a lolly or whatever, and does funny things or whatever." Like everybody had their own
Mm-hmm.
little quirk, and that was it. That it was never really beyond that. But obviously, time has passed on, and a lot of the streamers left, and a lot of what remains is people who get on VR chat to find themselves, whatever that is. Whether they want to you know come out and become out as being transgender or part of the LGBT community, or uh, uh, deal with like anxiety, depression, stuff like that. I've had people on who've never talked before, like they've day in like they never talk to anybody, like they don't talk. So when they stream and stuff, or if they're a content creator, a lot of them don't talk because they some of them, they're afraid, they have anxiety, but when they have so many people watching them and supporting them, it like validates them, um,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I've quite a few friends who've come out as being trans or gay or a lot of all this stuff, all the bells and whistles because of VR chat. So it's always an interesting question to ask because it's like liberating because it really enables people that are part of that community.
Yeah, I
Because
mean it's
yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say like I never thought that like that would ever happen in an online community or anything like that. Like I'm the typical gamer. Like I don't think I'm as old as you, right? I think you're a lot older than I am. But I'm only 24, going to be 25 this year, and I grew up playing like Halo and Call of Duty, and like if you're playing any of those games online, people would just say the worst things, the most toxic things to you. So I have a pretty
oh
thick
yeah.
skin
Hmm.
growing up as a kid. But like I never thought like no one like that's my background. I played games. When you played games, you weren't sitting there, you know, bleeding out your feelings to somebody, right? That was never really a thing when I played Halo or Call of Duty. You got on the game, you played the game. That was it. And now, you play something like VR chat, and now you have people they have more meaning to playing and seeking validation, and some of them come out, and now they're a completely different person, and so there's a lot of stuff going on in VR chat. Never thought this would ever happen.
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely like I said, it's a perfect. I mean, just imagine. It's like if it was the ability, if everyone had the ability to when they wake up in the mornings to just flip a switch
Mm-hmm.
or push a button and be able to see the perfect version of themselves, whatever that may be at the time. And one of the things that I've always said is like, imagine if we had the technology to, you could put something you can wear a little pack on your back or whatever that basically just portrayed an image, skin tight image over your body
Mm-hmm.
for what everybody else saw you as, and it changed your voice. Imagine how many happy people would be in this world right now. It would be amazing. But VR chat is kind of like the beginnings of that. It lets
Yeah.
people jump in and just with a flip of a switch, they can see themselves as a female or whatever. They can see themselves as a male if they're a female. You don't really have the opportunity that I know of in too many places on this planet.
True. I mean, for me, I always separate myself from my mascot. In the real world, I'm quite quiet and sort of keep to myself. I go to college and I just do my studies, and if I have to do group work or do group assignments, I just do my part, and that's it. Um, when I'm on VR chat, I'm quite the opposite. It's kind of interesting because when I take like I have to take personality tests for school, and I answer truthfully, like what I'm mentally thinking of, like this is what I do. Like I'm answering as if I'm playing VR chat. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like it says like, oh you're super extroverted. You're like the guy, like the life of the party, all this stuff. But in real life, I'm not that. I just, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? It's like my VR self and my real life self are kind of different in that regard. And I answer everything as my VR chat self. So like if it says like, you know, are you a headstrong person? Do you like talk to other people? Are you sociable? That's who I am in VR chat. I know a lot of people. That's why I do a talk show, right? But in real life, I don't really.
Hmm.
I just keep to myself and do my own thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever feel ashamed if people found out what I did online. I mean, if they're gonna judge me, then it's whatever, right? I've already kind of dealt with that when I was 8 years ago when I was in high school. I used to be a YouTuber, and literally like at the start of doing YouTube videos, my friends at the time, they saw that I was doing YouTuber because I left on my uh, channel on the computer, And they were like, "Oh, you're a YouTuber, huh?" And they just like constantly just like berate me and like constantly just like hate on me and be like, "You're a loser. You're never gonna be like these big YouTubers or whatever." And after a while, it kind of
Mm-hmm.
just helped me like grow a thick skin. I mean, sure, it was not like why would they say that, right? Like I never like it wasn't like I was just like, "Yo, dude, check out my new video every day." You know what I mean? I just like did my own
Mm-hmm.
thing, and they just constantly hated on me for whatever reason. It's very toxic. But
Yeah, and I.
the moral of the story of it is that even if I didn't want that to happen, like them to hate on me, obviously they should be like more supportive or just not care in general. If they didn't care, then they would be fine with me. But
Right.
because they were hating on me every day, it helped me like grow this really thick skin. The same with playing online games. So like I just don't care. Like if you hate on me or be like, oh you, because I've rebranded right, just like you, and if people come to me and be like, oh you changed, man. You used to be a dude and do all this stuff and whatever, and I'm just like, bro, like if you don't like it, then leave. Like it's as simple as that. I really don't care anymore, dude. You're wasting your time trying to convince me to like go back or something. So.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's one of the things that I feel like has compelled me to put so much energy and time into what I do on Twitch and the community that we have, the amazing community that we have,
Mhm.
is that I, I've said it, I said it before that like I think I felt like a tiny, tiny little sliver of what it's like for someone who actually in their real life is going through a struggle of maybe making the transition or making coming out as gay or trans or lesbian or something like that. Like I feel like because of what I did, the change that I made within myself and the change that's very evident to people that has known me for years and years, like the hate, some of the hate that I received, it made me step back and be like, oh my God, like im- I don't think I could deal with that like in the real world like as a person who is trying to transition or come out. The amount of just I mean I had friends that I'd known for years message me and just say the nastiest, meanest things
Mm.
about what they saw about me, and like it hurt tremendously. And that's why I feel the need to try in my very best to try to create a community where, again, it's all about acceptance, and it's about validation, and it's about respecting people regardless of what they want to be or want to be portrayed as.
Mm. I get what you're saying. That's why I feel like VRChat is such a interesting community. Like well, I've heard of people like studying VRChat as sort of like a college or university like thesis or something like that because like, uh, what it like it's something that's never happened before. Like you know what I mean? Like, sure you can play
Mm-hmm.
like an online video game and whatever, and play like a female character, but like it's different when you are that character in that video game, right? Like that's the big difference. And that like, I remember one of my friends when they got VR for the first time and they were transitioning to become a female, they got VR and they like played a female avatar they always used, and like when they just looked at themselves in the mirror, they actually started crying and like was like super like overjoyed because they're just like, oh my god, I never thought that I would know what it looks like to like be a, validated by the mirror, you know. So.
So I have a really short story that I will share. So when I first started playing VRC, I was a mute for roughly 8 months, and it especially became more and more like I had to be a mute because I was growing into this persona and this aspect of myself, and I always felt like I could never open my mouth. I could never speak. I could never speak because people would judge me and treat me differently than what they treated me as a female because I never spoke. They never saw. But eventually, I sat down and with a couple of my friends one night, and I stood in front of a mirror, and I remember looking at myself in the mirror for the very, very first time, this for 8, 9 months after doing this, and being this person, and being what I saw in the mirror. And I spoke for the very first time. And when I saw my avatar's mouth move and my voice come out of what I saw, I literally broke down in tears. It was the most emotionally impactful moment that I think that I'd ever experienced in a very, very long time.
Yeah, like I said of my friend, obviously I don't have that experience at all because it's just to me, playing VR chat is just an experience for fun and to stream and build a community and do talk shows and stuff like that. That's what it is for
Hmm.
me. Um, my mascot is just something that represents my channel, my brand, and that's just the way it is. I have no interest in uh, you know, because some people when I first rebranded, some people said like, oh, you can't play a female avatar. You have to like train your voice and try and convince men that you're a girl. And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna do that. That's not for me, man. I'm not gonna try and convince people that I'm actually a girl in real life or anything like that. I just don't care. I mean, there's so many people in VR chat that are guys that play girls, and some of them want to, you know, have a pronoun as being a girl, and that's fine. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it,
It seems like people care about what other people are doing than what they should care about themselves. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to
yeah,
be called
absolutely.
her, then okay. Like, is it really going to impact my life and be like, oh my god, huh? I Yeah, I don't know. It seems like people in VR chat, the toxic people, try to like find ways to like harass people on purpose. Like, oh, you don't like this word. Oh, you don't like this. I'm gonna harass you now. So I feel
Yeah,
like people just want to
yeah.
pick fights for no reason. Just I think it's just the way the internet is. They try and like find something that what do you call it? Like
What's the
cranks your
rule?
thumb.
There's like a rule. I forget what it's called on the internet. It's like the the aspect of having an anonymous presence, like where nobody knows who you are, basically turns you into an asshole. It turns
Oh
everybody
yeah,
into
yeah,
an
yeah,
asshole.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember what the name of the rule is.
I don't know. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. You're not wrong. Like I've said this before. Like it's a sad reality, but like you can be anyone online. And like let's say I was really toxic, hypothetically speaking. If I got banned, I could just make a new account, make a new username, and resume what I was doing, but do it differently. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
you have
Yeah,
unlimited
yeah, absolutely.
lives online. You can be like an asshole 100 times over, and still get away with it because you just make new accounts and everything. Like in real life, you only have one. Everyone knows what you look like. Everyone knows your name. You can't change
Right.
that really. I mean, you know, plastic. You know what I mean. But like, it's very hard to do so. But online, you can just make a new name and be someone
Hmm.
else and
Yeah, if you're an
everything.
asshole to somebody in real life, you're likely to get your ass kicked, and you won't be an asshole anymore.
Yeah, exactly. But online, you can get away with it because you're like, haha, just take
Right.
off the headset, dude. Take off, just turn off the computer. You can't get me now. But
Yep.
yeah, I think that's why there's a lot of toxic people in VR chat and stuff like that because it feeds into that. Excuse me. And yeah, but also it's a good thing though too, right? Because like I'll give an example, right? Like you said, like let's say in real life that you know I'm a very quiet, shy person, but in VR chat I can be, you know, a cute anime girl, and no one will think the wiser, right? Like no, if I don't talk, then no one's gonna know who I am in real life, and I can seek validation from my friends and my community, and you know that's all you ever need, right? It goes
Yeah.
both ways, right?
Yeah, and I think the whole thing with toxicity on the internet is it's been around forever. It's been around since online gaming has been around. And one of the things that I mean, when I played Elite Dangerous, there was a very well-known group of players in Elite Dangerous that their whole entire purpose
Hmm.
was to go grief people. And it was like, people that do that in video games, they don't care about the game. They don't care about the gameplay of the game. What they get enjoyment from is making other people's lives miserable, making
Mm.
them frustrated, making them angry, making them sad. That's why they play the game. And if the game makes it to where they can't do that anymore, then guess what? They'll probably go to another game where they can be that way. So it's not really so much as about the game as about the person's just ability and desire to make other people feel that way. And it's like you said, VR chat is full of those. You can't go into a public world nowadays almost without somebody coming in
Yeah.
and being just a complete and utter asshole. It's terrible.
It's something I've talked about a lot in these interviews, so I always keep it brief. But I just think it's because of the lack of moderation. Like there used to be a lot of moderation, now there seems to be like nothing. So, and the worst
Yeah.
punishment is the sad reality is that like you get banned, and you're like, oh, I got banned. You can just make a new account and resume, like I just said, a new identity and
Mm-hmm.
resume what you're doing. It's not like you get banned once and your hardware banned and you can't play the game anymore. It's not like Blizzard and other games, right? So
Right.
there's no real penalty for like being an asshole. It's just you can do whatever you want, honestly. And
Yeah. The
obviously,
penalty has to come. The penalty has to come from your peers. The penalty has to come from the community, and
true.
those around you. So it's like, but the problem is that when you see some of these people that pop in and do these really nasty things, or be super nasty and mean, it's like you have other people around them that either don't do anything, or they join in and laugh and think it's a big
Yeah.
deal, and that's the problem. It's like you're basically you're validating this person's um
Behavior.
desire to be an asshole.
Yeah, you're actually right. If more people spoke up or at least were like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, stop doing that and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, if more people blocked him, like, imagine, like, if you're in a lobby and, like, you did something and, like, 30 people in a lobby, every single person said, like, no, that's not allowed. Get the hell out of here. And literally just block. Like, imagine getting that every time you did something. I guarantee you the person would be like, oh, I guess I'm getting blocked
It's
by
not worth their
hundreds.
time anymore.
I know it's like, oh, I'm getting blocked by literally every player and like getting reported to the mods and stuff. But most people
Hmm.
just don't care. They're like, oh, that guy's whatever. Okay. So a lot of times, like you might get some people to block you, but like most people are just I don't care or they jump in or you know it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like being in public school or something. Like someone's getting bullied and like you just sort of like the innocent bystander and you're just sort of like yeah I don't really care. It's just whatever, and then it just
Right.
keeps
And
happening.
that's yeah, and that's a mentality. So another short story. I went to Japan a couple of years ago, and like I absolutely adore not just obviously anime and things like that, but just the Japanese culture. I love the mentality of the Japanese people. But one of the things about the Japanese people overall is that they have a very non-intrusive stance to how they go about their everyday life.
Hmm.
That's why you've seen so many issues of like in Japan on the subways, women getting harassed and nobody does anything because a lot of the times it's like they're more like, okay, I'm not gonna get myself involved with that situation that I see happening over there because if I get involved, then that's another person that's causing a scene. So it's kind of like they had this standoff, like I'm just gonna keep my head down, and I'm not saying that's the case all the time, but it's like that same mentality in VR chat. It's like people see things like that going on, and they have this like non-invasive kind of mentality to them, to where they just step back and they don't cause the person that's being that way to feel um um what's the word they're not calling them out for that behavior as being inappropriate
Yeah.
or bad, and that's why they feel like they can continue doing it.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good example because, you know, if someone, if you know, if that happened in America or whatever, or any other country, people would call it up like, "What are you doing, huh, punk? You creep!" Like, what do you? Most people would like step up and be like, "What are you doing?" And people
Yeah,
would stop
absolutely.
because like, oh, I can't do this anymore because I'm going to get caught and beaten up. So obviously I'm going to stop doing that. But like in certain
Right.
countries, like people just don't care, so they're like, oh, I can get away with this. Hee hee. That's why they make
Yep.
in the Japanese subway system they have like what do you call it, trains or like parts of the compartments are only like for women and only for men
Mm-hmm.
because
Yep.
it
Yep. Yep.
reduces the
Mm-hmm.
chance. So Yeah, it's culture. It's the community. So if again relating to VR chat, if the community would call out that type of behavior, like with the tweet that happened like a week ago or whatever, and people having not safe for work avatars, it's all the same thing, right? If that tweet didn't happen, then the behavior would continue. But because they got called out, people are gonna now actively look for that stuff and be like, hey, don't do that, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's required that people, not just the moderators, but also the community needs to get involved and call things out and be like, hey, don't do this, don't do that. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
get what
hold
you're
people
saying.
accountable for their actions.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll start taking questions from the chat for the remainder, like 10 minutes or so. So if anybody has
Okay.
any questions for Lynx and I, then yeah, we'll take some questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, me? You're asking me?
Yeah, me.
um. So, well, I mean, I'm just curious how long, because like I've been only streaming VRC for roughly since the end of November. So, I mean, I guess my question is like, how long have you been streaming VRC?
Uh, I started playing December 10th, 2017. I started streaming December 21st, I think, around that time, 2017. So about like a week or week and a half after playing, starting to play VR
Oh
chat, I started
wow.
streaming. So I've been streaming going on almost 2.5 years now. So I'm one of the old boys. I started playing and streaming before Knuckles was even a thing. So I'm one
That's
of the
amazing.
boomers.
So you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot come and go
Yeah,
throughout
that's
the
why I'm very
years on
vocal with
VRC.
what I say and do, because I'm one of the boomers that's like, oh yeah, back in my day, people weren't really toxic, and like you could actually go to Publix and actually have a good time. And there
Right.
used to be 64 player worlds. There used to be more optimized avatars. Used to be like Rave Robbie and all these old like dance clubs that are bumping, and now all these worlds are dead. So, you know.
Yeah.
What is your recommendation to get into VR, and what would you want a new person to know that you wish you had known when you started? That was Z-Man that said that.
Oh, so as far as like equipment wise, I'm assuming that's what you're asking. I personally I've used the Oculus CV1. I've obviously used the Vive setup, and now I use the Vive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I highly recommend the Vive if you can if you can get your hands on one. The Vive is just it's overall better quality, better field of vision, better refresh rate.
Mm-hmm.
The tracking is much better. Um, so and as far as like a video card, I would say at least. I mean, if you're gonna, you're gonna go into worlds in VRC. It doesn't matter how beefy of a system you have. You're gonna get garbage frame rates because it's all about optimization. But I would say at least like a 1060 would be my minimum recommendation for a video card. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what was the second part of the question? I forget.
Um, what is your recommend? I'm just going to read the whole question. What is your recommendation to
Okay.
get into VR, and what would you want a new person to know that you wish you had known when you started?
How to block somebody is like super important to know. Like right off the
True.
bat.
True.
um, I would say like honestly, try to like if you can become a part of a community of friends that do VRC because I spent a lot of time by myself in
Mm-hmm.
the first couple of months in VRC because I didn't talk. It's a little bit harder for me to relate to people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why my hand tracker's messing up, but um, and that's one of the things that kind of goes back to how I portray myself. I had I worked very hard in my facial expressions, the way I hold myself, the way I move, the way I sit, the way I stand. Everything about what I portray myself as is of a female nature,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I want to portray. But even like the blinking aspect of it, a lot of people find that very very strange the way I blink. I've seen some people do it before, but the blinking for me is it's all manually because I feel personally when you look at somebody, you want seeing somebody that doesn't blink or has like an auto
Oh,
blink function. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't feel natural as if you actually have somebody that's blinking as naturally.
interesting.
Um, so having people and friends that will join you in VRC is
Hmm.
it makes things so much smoother in the long run as far as getting used to how VRC operates, the different worlds and things like that.
I would say my recommendation, I don't know, like for VR, it depends on your computer. I would just say like get an Oculus Quest if you want to play VR. But if you're more like the hardcore, I would say Index, but obviously it's like kind of like hard to get. So maybe an Oculus Rift S or maybe a Vive. Those are pretty good. My Rift, or sorry, my Oculus Rift is actually 2+ years old, so it's like falling apart. What was something do you and sorry, what you would want a new person to know that you wish you had known when you started? Um, Good worlds to find good, honest people in. Because back in the day, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just went to random worlds, and I wish I added more people back then because I didn't know what I had back then. I didn't know that this game was going to turn out to be like private world simulator. Like I just went and
Hmm.
played and have fun. So I feel like my regret is that if I added more people, I would have more friends and more closer people to talk to, interact with, in
Yep.
VR. But it is what it is, right? You just got to move forward and focus on the present. So that's why I do a talk show and talk about these types of things. Another question we have here: why is everyone hating VR chat right now? Well, it depends. Like, what do you mean? If you're talking about like in a general sense, like why like we're hating the game itself, a lot of people hate VR chat. It's not really hate. It's more like dislike. It's because if you're someone who's played as long as I have, we're just very tired of waiting for the game to be updated, and we understand that the game devs are um, taking their time to update the game. You know, that's just the way game development is. Some people hate the game because of the community. You know, you said that earlier about like, you know, the not safe for work avatars in Publix. Some people just don't like the fact that everyone's sitting in a private world. There's literally 10,000 people that play VR chat almost on a daily basis, but yeah, how many of those people you actually see? Like maybe like five or something. So it seems really weird, right? There's many
Yeah.
different reasons, right? Everyone has their own reasons why they hate VR chat or whatever, but I would say it's
I mean,
just.
obviously, I
So I was gonna say
go
like
ahead, go ahead.
I, um losing my train of thought here. It's
No,
because
I'm sorry.
everyone has their own opinions on like why they hate VR chat. And it's just like sort of like a melting pot of just like, oh, I hate it because of this reason. Oh, I hate it because of this reason. It's like at the end of the day though, most people who hate VR chat probably still play the game every day. I'm gonna be honest
Hmm.
with you here. If you probably spend more than like 100 or 200 hours, you're probably gonna spend 2,000 hours in this game. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
people love to
absolutely.
hate it. So is what you were saying?
Yeah. Oh, so no, I mean, as far as me, obviously, I love VRC, but there's definitely aspects of VRC that need vast improvement. The security of people in VRC is, I think, the most important aspect. I can't go to. I'm scared to go to a public world because I'm
Mm-hmm.
afraid of somebody stealing my avatars. Or I was in a public world. This is months. Well, when I first started playing, some guy was in there and he was talking about, like, he was walking up to people, and first of all he was walking up to them and then pointing at them and doing something and being and was like yoink,
Mm-hmm.
giving me the indication that he was pulling people's avatar. But then
Yeah,
he would also say, "Oh, how is the weather over in so and so?"
that's
And I was like,
hell.
"What?" So he was pulling, like, IP information, and
Mm-hmm.
it was insane. He was telling people where they were living, and that's insanely insecure and, like, terrible business practice to have a product that allows that kind of information to be revealed to other people. So security, the social system in VR chat is definitely leaves a lot to be desired.
Mm-hmm.
Half the time it doesn't update. Half the time you never get notifications. So yeah, there's
True.
definitely a lot
True.
of aspects to it.
Yeah, that's how I feel about VRChat. You nailed a lot of the points. Um, it's more of a comment. So they make fun of people that don't use a headset and call them a desktop user. I mean, if you're using desktop, I mean, it's literally what it is, right? Unless you're implying like, yeah, there are people out there that are like, the full body and everything. They're like, hey, you don't have VR, huh? You nerd or whatever. But I mean, if someone's like that, there's the toxic. Like, there's always going to be people that are elitist. I remember I went to a club once. This guy, he got kicked out of the club party. Like he was like the one of the leaders of it. This is a long time ago. I'm not gonna say his name, but I remember going to this club and this guy, he was very elitist. He would just be like, "If you don't have vibe plus full body, I'm not gonna talk to you." And then there's people at the club that were like in desktop mode and they're just playing animations or emotes or whatever. And he's just like, "I'm kicking you out. I hate you." And then he talked to me and told him I was like, oh, "I don't have full body. I just have Oculus." Right? He's like, "Oculus? What? You're a loser, man. You should have bought a Vive and got a full body, idiot." And like all this stuff, and I'm just like, dude, like, what's your problem? He's like, what do you, you're like, buddy, if you don't have a 2080 Ti and an i9 9800 IK of 12 flops and all this crap, and I'm just like, dude, like, who cares? He's like, bro, I make $100,000 a year, bro. I'm like, okay, dude. Okay, man. Like, you like listen to yourself, dude. And like the funny thing is, he got kicked out of the whole community. Like he was like one of the leaders. I don't know how he became the leader of like this dance community, but their own community kicked him out and replaced him with some nicer guy. But like there are those
That's
elitist.
some of my best friends are in desktop. I
Yeah,
mean that's I that's some of my best friends are.
some of the most funniest people are in desktop. Like some people like do soundboards and like interesting stuff. You don't have to be in VR to be interesting or whatever. Like sure, it makes it a little bit easier, obviously, but like you don't have to be in VR to play VR chat. Nobody says that. I played desktop for a month before I got VR.
Hmm.
And the only reason I have VR is because I was streaming and the community wanted to fund me a headset. And so I got a headset and now I have full
Oh,
body
nice.
and a computer. Like everything that I own, technically speaking, related to streaming is because of my community and the VR chat community that supported me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So, like,
Definitely understand those that mindset and mentality. It's yeah, it's amazing when you have a tremendously supportive and loving community.
exactly. I already got like a new outfit, getting a business outfit. That one over there, I literally just got it. I just need to like get it rigged for
Oh, nice.
that's supposed to be the interview. Sorry, that's supposed to be the outfit I'm supposed to be using for interviews, but you know,
I like that avatar. It's really nice.
I've done 110 interviews with doing this outfit, but whatever, it is what it is. I'm not gonna stop doing interviews because wow, I don't have a suit on. So,
Well, I thought about wearing something more appropriate to the interview, but this is my outfit. This is kind of what I'm seeing in like 90% of the
uh,
time. So,
question for both regarding your content. If you had the ability to start over completely new and no one knows anything and wanted to do so, what would you change about your format? Um, I can go over quickly. So yeah, I played a dude for a year and a half in VR chat, and like I was just a meme. Do you know the Twitch emote K Kona, right?
mhm.
I made my character named Kenny K Kona. So I literally was just the embodiment of that Twitch emote. And I would just be like, "What's up, brother? Goddamn, what's going on?" Like I just talk like a hillbilly, like 12 hours a day in VR chat, and it did me like no favors. Sure, it was fun, and any time that I was around a streamer, their chat would just be like full of K Konas in the chat. Like it was like really enabling because I was like, "Oh man, haha, it's funny, right?"
Right.
But it never did me any favors as a streamer or as a content creator. It was all for other people's enjoyment, never for really for myself. So I would have changed my content. I would have probably dropped that whole act or whole thing within like a month, if not a couple of weeks, and done this. I should have been this the whole
Right.
time. I should have just been
Right.
myself. But I don't know. I just kept doing it because I don't know. Every time that I tried to like just be normal, like my normal voice like now, like everybody just like go back to being the hillbilly guy. Like, what are you doing? So yeah. Oh,
Yeah. So for me, I think I I don't think I would change the path that I took on Twitch as far as like starting out as my other names and the other content that I that I had, because it definitely, it helped me grow. It helped me grow as a person. And even now, even though there's many aspects of myself that has changed,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also so many aspects that are very much the same. I'm still myself. I just have a different appreciation for this internal aspect that I
Mm-hmm.
visualize on stream now. But one of the things I think I would change, as far as my time on Twitch over the years, as far as streaming goes,
Mm-hmm.
I always tend to push myself very hard when it came to streaming. When I first sat down and said I want to become a Twitch partner, because that was my goal from day one back in March of 2017.
Yeah.
I streamed every single day, and I have a full time job and a wife, and I streamed every single day for 45 days, for 5 to 6 hours a night after work,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the commitment I decided to make. I took a couple of days off. So over the years, I always found myself streaming like just full on 110%, go go go, and then I would end up having to get to the point and be like, all right, I have to step back. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not like a step back for like a week. It would be stepping back for like 4, 5, 6 months,
Oh
because
snap.
it just, yeah, I've had three major breaks in my streaming career, and they were all 4, 5, 6 months. So when I came back after every one of those breaks, it was like I was starting all over again. Um, Now, the schedule that I have now, I have an amazing mod team again that will ensure they start yelling at me if I go over, because I don't stream very much as far as time wise. I stream 4 hours or 4 days, 4 days a week, and I stream for 2 hours, and that's it. Like, I unless there's something special going on, that's all I stream. So 8 hours a week is all I do. And I found that because I do that and I limit myself, and make sure that I have the time to do other things in my life and take care of my job and my family and everything else, I find it much easier for me to deal with that. And I don't find myself um, resenting the fact sometimes, because, yeah, as a streamer, I'm sure I don't know, maybe had the times when at the end of the day, or when you're getting ready to stream, you just think to yourself, oh my goodness, I am just not in the right frame of mind right now to be
Yeah.
streaming. Like, it's just, I can't do it. But you hit that button anyway, because you know that's what you need to do. Um, but the way I do it now, I feel like if I went back to the beginning of my Twitch career and do what I do now as far as my scheduling goes, that would be probably the one thing that I would change.
Okay, we'll take this one last question quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. Marbman 13, Links. What is the biggest regret you have after changing brands? What do you feel is the greatest success about the brand change?
So, what is the greatest regret from the
Biggest
brand
regret,
change?
yeah, after changing
Uh,
brands.
I think definitely, seeing some of my very close friends,
Mm-hmm.
um, either lose interest
Yeah.
in the content, or show themselves to be the kind of person who is not able to accept what they
Mm-hmm.
see, or um, what's the word? Not really appreciate, but just respect what they see and me as a person. I think that's the biggest, and I knew that was going to happen. Like, it wasn't a blind decision. I knew very very well that, like, if I was going to go from being a face cam streamer all the time,
Mm-hmm.
playing Elite Dangerous, to this, dancing and portraying myself this way, I knew it was going to cause. I did the one thing that, like, every streamer should not do, and that is completely change games, completely change yourself, completely change the stream format of what you're doing. I did all of that, but I felt like I had to do it because that's how much this means to me. This is how much being this means to me, and how much I wanted to show it, and share it with everyone, and let everybody else know that it's okay to be that way. So that's my biggest regret is to know that I've lost um, friends because of it.
I know that feeling. like I said, I rebranded myself too. So there's definitely some people that still like stick in the past and still tell me like, "Oh, dude,
Hmm.
switch back to the old avatar." And I'm like, "Dude, come on, man. Like, just let it go." Like, but most of the people who watch me nowadays only know me for this character, so I guess that's the liberation. And yeah, I've definitely
Right.
lost friends over time. Um, from streaming. I know what I lost a lot of friends to is not really my rebrand. I lost a lot of friends due to just their themselves because people they get lost in the sauce. They get lost in the getting partner, getting famous, getting popular, and then they don't care about their friends who yeah, I'm a smaller content creator, so they just don't care about me anymore. They only care about shooting up higher and higher and higher in the ladder. So it's a sad reality. But the end result, I'm
Well,
still
I will
here.
always care about you, Rebel.
Oh, thanks. That's what matters. Now I have validation. Now I'm never gonna cry again.
That's what it's all about. Yay.
Exactly. But I think that's pretty much it. We've been going for
Okay.
over an hour, so time to wrap it up. So what I'll do is I'll put the camera on you if you want to shout yourself. You don't have to, but I always let people do if they don't want to plug themselves. Tell you guys, tell the people watching, if you're Twitch, your YouTube. Sorry, I'm stuttering. Your Twitch, your YouTube, whatever is going on in your life. You want people to let you know.
I mean, I'm not going to take up too much time. I think I have been very representative of myself and the kind of content that I produce. What you haven't seen is the fact that I do dance. That's what I love to do. I love dancing and I love my community. I love the interaction and just search for links on Twitch. And if you find me there, you scroll down to the bottom and you'll see all the other stuff.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Links. I really do appreciate it for coming by and being a
Absolutely.
part of my talk show. Again, I'm your host, Owen Rebel. This is my talk show, Late Night with Rebel. And I do this almost every single day. I'm crazy, I guess. I have more interviews tomorrow and this following week. And yeah, thank you so much.
Well,
Before you go,
thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you. Before you go, we'll always take a picture. So if you want to stand up with me and we'll take a selfie together. And yeah. Oh, this is always the awkward part because it's like, a stream. So it's just like, oh, these two
I'm so
people.
short.
Don't worry, I just get shorter. Don't worry about it.
Or I can move up if you want.
1 second here. You can move up if you want. 1 sec. Just turning off
Okay, hold on.
the
Just let me
camera.
know.
And then do this. Flip it around. There we go. There. You see where the camera is right there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Take two. Always take two, by the way.
Oh,
Here, I got it. Pro tip, by the way. Actually, pro tip. You actually always want to take more than one picture because you always mess up in one. It's a life tip.
yep, absolutely.
You're actually not wrong. Oh, snap. I am, like, much taller than you.
Oh my God, you're so tall.
Yes. I'm massive. I made my character 5'8". Everyone else is, like, down here.
I am exceptionally short. I think I'm 110 centimeters in this avatar, so
Oh, I
it's
thought you
pretty
meant in
short.
real life. I was like, well,
No, 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 no. I'm about yes. No, I'm not that short.
okay. I know.
Okay.
I know
All right.
why.
Well,
I know why people play short characters. You just want to get a nice sight. You know what
well,
you're looking at. You know what you're looking at. Come on.
well. Hey, I'm not, and I appreciate everything.
Of course. I appreciate you and thank you so much for stopping by.
Well, thank you.
Thank